I call Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's with some intrepidation, I guess, that I rise to speak on this bill, because it's a bill that has come to the House completely unnecessarily. And we are occupying the time of the House on a bill that actually is not necessary, has been completely overtaken by the effective, efficient and very good work that has been done by this government on this area. So back in 2010, ECAN was entirely dysfunctional by every and all measures. And so a set of commissioners were installed. And then along in 2011, the new, keen, enthusiastic member for Wigram was elected to what was once a safe Labor red stronghold and had become, under her candidacy, a marginal seat, one at risk next year. And this member came into the House and did as she is required to do by the instructions of her party and her whip, put a bill in the member's ballot. And there she did. So she put a bill in the ballot and then promptly forgot about it. She forgot about it and left it there. And subsequent to that, of course, back in 2016, earlier this year, this efficient and effective government made really good changes to improve the transition of ECAN back to full democratic election at the next local government elections. And then, having forgotten that her bill was in the ballot, it was drawn from the ballot. Nobody in this Parliament got a bigger surprise than the member for Wigram when the bill that she had completely forgotten about was drawn from the ballot. I can't believe what her face might have looked like when the news arrived that the bill had been drawn, because the bill had been completely overtaken by events that this government had done. So what to do now? Was the great issue for the member. And the member's problem was that because her member's bill was completely superfluous and no longer required, she's had to prepare a hastily drawn up supplementary order paper to ensure that the member's bill that she had put in the ballot when she was first elected as the new bright, shiny, bouncy member for Wigram in the marginal seat of Wigram, and then she's had to do a very quick change around and try and double back and put it into some kind of context that makes it vaguely, barely, marginally relevant to the legislation that this government has put forward in terms of transitioning ECAN back to a full democratic process. Sir, this bill is an embarrassment to the Labor Party. It's an embarrassment to the member who showed so much potential when she was first elected. So much potential that has actually not lived up to its fulfilment. This bill is actually something that is really something that if the member had been more in tune with what was going on in this Parliament in terms of the legislation that was before it, and hadn't forgotten about her member's bill in the ballot, and then suddenly realised it was drawn out, she would have probably just completely withdrawn it. That would have been the appropriate, sensible thing to do. But no, this House is now occupying valuable time in addressing a bill that is completely irrelevant, no longer required, and actually is so backward-looking in its view that one must really begin to doubt why we are here at all. So, sir, this bill is one that's out of touch, and the member is really trying to amend an act that has already been adequately replaced by the hard-working members on the government side. Sir, I'm disappointed because I thought that the member had greater potential than to allow this bill to proceed and go forward. I thought the member came to this Parliament to be proactive, to make a positive contribution and to look forward, rather than to spend time of Parliament trying to drive through the rear vision mirrors. Sir, this is not a good bill. It's a bill that the government will oppose. It's a bill that's not required, that's not necessary, and it's a bill that is wasting the time of our Parliament. Sir, I hope that this bill will be soundly and positively rejected by the Parliament on its first reading, and I do not commend it to the House.